I want you to listen to me without rushing to judgment, not because I deserve mercy, but because this story only matters if you understand how it happens. Monsters do not wake up one morning and decide to be monsters. They are built slowly, quietly, piece by piece, by hunger, by shame, by silence, by fear that never leaves the room. My name is Charles Davis Lawson, Charlie, to the people who knew me. Farmer, husband, father of 7, church-going man. And on Christmas Day, 1929, I destroyed my entire family and then myself. Not in a fit of rage, not in a blur, but with a clarity that still terrifies me. The land raised me the same way it raised my father before me, with hard soil and harder lessons. You work until your hands split. You pray when the crops fail. You swallow your doubts and you do not complain. Men in Stokes County were not taught how to talk about fear. We were taught how to endure it. And I endured, year after year, bad harvests, poor prices, debts that grew faster than anything I planted. Every season felt like I was falling further behind some invisible line I was never meant to cross. Fanny tried to help. God knows she tried. She stretched meals thin. She mended clothes until there was nothing left to mend. She smiled in front of the children even when I could see the worry cutting into her like a knife. But there is a kind of hunger that doesn't show on the table, a hunger that lives in the chest, the kind that comes from knowing your children depend on you and feeling yourself fail them every single day. Arthur was the oldest. He watched me closely, tried to mirror me, tried to be a man before he had any right to be one. Marie watched even more closely. She was sharp, too sharp. She noticed the things I wanted to pretend weren't there. The way my hands shook sometimes. The way my temper flared without warning. The way the house felt heavy even when no one was speaking. The younger children still believed in Santa Claus. Still believed Christmas meant safety. Still believed their father could protect them from anything. At night when the house was quiet, my thoughts became unbearable. The silence pressed in until I could hear my own heartbeat. I would lie awake listening to the wind scrape against the walls and wonder how long before the cold won. How long before the farm took everything I had left. How long before my children grew old enough to understand what kind of life I had given them. The dreams started then. Dreams where the children cried out to me and I couldn't move. Dreams where Fanny stood in front of me with disappointment so deep it hollowed her eyes. Dreams where I woke up already exhausted, already ashamed, already trapped. I prayed harder than I ever had. I asked God for strength, for guidance, for anything. But prayer without hope becomes noise. And the silence that answered me felt deliberate, like abandonment, like a test I was never meant to pass. The thought came quietly, not as a voice, not as a command, as a conclusion. A terrible, calm conclusion that settled into my mind and refused to leave. That maybe the world my children were being raised into was worse than death. That maybe sparing them from hunger and failure and shame was an act of mercy. I know how that sounds now. I know how it will sound to anyone listening. But when a mind breaks, it does not shatter loudly. It bends until everything looks upside down. A few days before Christmas, I decided we would go to town. New clothes, a family photograph, something permanent, something clean. Fanny questioned me, but she didn't fight me. Maybe she sensed something was wrong. Maybe she was too tired to argue. The children were excited. They laughed. They smiled. They trusted me. That trust is the heaviest thing I carry. The photographer told us to hold still. The flash lit us up for a split second, freezing us the way I wanted us to be remembered. A family intact, a father present, a mother hopeful. Children alive and together. That photograph would become my ghost, proof that happiness and horror can exist inches apart. We walked home through the cold, snow crunching underfoot, the woods standing silent. Marie walked beside me and asked if we were going to be okay. Her voice was careful. She already knew something was wrong. I stopped walking. I looked down at her face and felt something inside me collapse completely. There was no more pretending, no more denial. The decision had already been made long before I admitted it to myself. I told the children to go on ahead, told them I would follow. They obeyed because that is what children do when they trust their father. I stayed behind with the shotgun. My hands shook. My heart felt like it would tear itself apart. But my mind was calm, too calm. Fanny was first. I will not hide that. She looked at me with disbelief, confusion, a question forming that never reached her lips. She did not scream. I wish she had. Maybe then something would have broken the spell. But the silence swallowed her just as it had swallowed me. The children scattered into the woods. The same woods that had fed us now hid them from me. Arthur tried to run, tried to be brave. Marie did not run. She looked at me. Her eyes asked why. I had no answer. The younger ones cried, called my name, trusted me to stop. I did not. When it was over, there was no relief, no sense of righteousness, only a silence so heavy it felt physical. Snow stained dark, trees standing as witnesses, the world unchanged. I stood there surrounded by what I had done and understood, too late, that I had not saved anyone. I had only ensured that suffering would never end. I walked back to the barn and ended my life in the same cold that had shaped it. They found us. They buried us. They whispered. They searched for reasons that made them feel safe. Madness, poverty, sin. Years later, rumors surfaced, secrets hinted at, accusations whispered too late to matter. People stared at the photograph as if it could explain everything. But the truth is simpler and more frightening. Evil does not always arrive screaming. Sometimes it comes wrapped in responsibility and fear. Sometimes it wears the face of a man who never learned how to ask for help. Sometimes it smiles for a Christmas photograph. If you remember us, remember this. The greatest danger is not always the stranger at the door. Sometimes it is the silence inside a home where suffering is never spoken aloud. And sometimes, by the time anyone realizes what is happening, Christmas is already over. There is no music now, no narration, just the sound of wind moving through trees that no longer remember our names. The photograph still exists, a family frozen in time, smiling, clean, whole. People look at it and search for answers, but photographs do not scream. They do not warn. They do not tell you when something is already broken beyond repair. Somewhere, children are laughing on Christmas morning. Somewhere, a father is staring at the floor, carrying thoughts he has never spoken out loud. Somewhere, silence is growing heavy enough to crush a home. If you are listening to this, and you feel that weight, tell someone. Because this story does not end in 1929. It only pauses. And in the quiet that follows, the most dangerous thing is not evil, it is silence.